Hello my friends, my name is Lindsay and I run the blog Books for Christian Girls, and welcome back or welcome to the little corner of the internet where I talk mainly about Christian fiction. Today we are back in my normal rainbow bookshelf setup. Last week I did a tier ranking video at my desk, which was so much fun to film and edit. Y'all have no idea, like I was just giddy from filming that one and editing it. It was so much fun. And then the week before I did a reading vlog, so y'all kind of saw all around my room. But today we're back in our normal setup because I'm doing something I don't know if I've actually ever done a video of before. What is that, you may ask? Well, you've already read the title, so you know, but it is a Readathon TBR. Number one, I rarely ever do TBRs. I think I may do a spring TBR come like March, April-ish, but I don't typically do TBRs. And then Readathons, I always have every great intention to do my fellow booktube friends their Readathons. I always have every thought and every hope in the net. Sometimes I even like fill out the prompts. I'm like, oh, this would work for this. But sometimes life gets in the way, or I have to prioritize other books that don't fit into the prompts, and things happen. And Daisy was sleeping in here now. She wants out. Don't you want to be in here while I talk about fairies? I always have every intention to join in on these different readathons, and I never really get to. So I'm going to make every effort to do this readathon. I'm really excited about it. These are some really fun prompts. Towards the end of this video though, I'm going to also be doing a book tag that I have been saving for this such occasion, really. So we're going to do that as well, but first let's discuss the prompts and what I think I'm going to read. So this is a really fun tag with all the different fairy tale themed prompts. I have seen all the different hosts though say that you do not have to read just exclusively fairy tales, which is great because I don't think I could read 12 fairy tales in a row. Maybe 2 or 3, sure, I've done that. 12, I don't think I could do, so I'm really glad we don't have to do only fairy tale books because they're fun, but that's a lot of fairy tale retellings. So as long as you read one book for this, you have joined in, and that makes me really excited because I know I can at least read one. I can at least read one. And there's actually different levels. So if you read 1 through 6 of the prompts, and you can definitely double up, triple up, count 3 books for the whole thing or whatever, like you can double up, which is fantastic as well, and I may end up doing that. But if you do 1 to 6 prompts, you are a pixie. If you are 7 to 11 prompts you've completed, really, you are a princess or a prince. And then if you read all 12, you are a fairy godmother. Which, I am an overachiever, and I really like the idea of being a fairy godmother because I do feel like that in some of my friend groups. So, I'm thinking about it. But here's the deal. With some of these prompts, I couldn't think of any. So, if you would like to leave your recommendations or suggestions for me in the comments, I would so appreciate that. I've watched the different hosts, all of their recommendations, and I'm thinking about some of those, but I would really, truly love if y'all want to recommend some books as well. I do have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, and I feel like you honestly could probably do this whole, all 12 prompts just with Kindle Unlimited books, especially with like all the Fairytale Retelling, multi-author series, and I may read a few of those here and there. But, because I've already been I've been reading some of those here and there, but we'll see. You know, I'm really such a mood reader, so it's difficult for me to do like a commitment TBR, and even like the pile of possibilities, I love that term. It's really hard for me because it's like, oh, but I said I'll probably read this one. I should read this one. Those are really hard for me to do, so I've never really done them. But I'm going to see what I can do. A main reason I don't do TBRs is because I don't want to ever come across that I am recommending these books before I've read them. I don't want it to ever happen where I talk about a book, say I'm going to read it, and then somebody reads it before me and it has content and they're horrified or scarred for life. Like, I never want that to happen. So that's why I really don't film TBR videos. So please, as I discuss these books, please know that I'm not recommending these books. I hope to get to them, and then like, let me verify them before you go out and read them. Unless, like, you know this author, you've read this author, you've already heard good things. Like, take everything I say with a grain of salt, okay, on that? Because I don't want anyone to read content they don't like just because I happen to mention the book and you read it before me or anything like that. Like, that makes me so nervous, and that's honestly why I avoid doing TBRs. It scares me to do that. But I'm going to see about these. Let me know y'all's thoughts on them. Please, 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 please just... Yeah, this is not me recommending them, okay? Big warning, this is not me recommending them. So, with that, we'll get into the prompts. I'm trusting y'all to take those words to heart, that I'm not recommending these books. I've heard about these books. I believe they are all clean. Are they Lindsey clean, as it's been called in the comments? But yeah, okay, we're just gonna get into it. So these prompts are super duper creative, and I had some of them that's like, oh, this is an easy answer. And then I had some that's like, oh, I don't know, which I feel like that's the case anytime I do a tag or a challenge even. But these, I have some that I'm leaving blank. So if you would like to recommend some books that fit in these prompts, I would truly appreciate it. I think in the comments of this video, I will do a list of ones I would recommend for different prompts, because this is just going to be my TBR. I'm not going to give really any recommendations in this video, except I'll kind of give recommendations at the end of this video with the Fairytale Retelling book tag I'm fixing to do once we talk about all these prompts and my goals and all that. But I'm not really going to be recommending anything. So I'll leave those in the comments, and if y'all would like to give me recommendations for any of these, I would love to know. I'd love to hear it. I feel like I could really easily just like reread all of Melanie Dickerson's books and probably finish all 12 prompts, which I may pick up a reread of a Melanie Dickerson book, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. But let's get started. I keep rambling. I'm so sorry. So the first one is Red Rose, which my brain was so tired last night as I tried to come up with these prompts. I thought there had to be a red rose on the cover, and I was like, this is hard. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, that's a burgundy rose. And as someone who has a rose garden, I'm very particular on what a red rose is. So I was like, okay, that's a burgundy rose. That's more of a pink rose. That's not, okay, yes, that's a red flower, but it's not a red rose. So I was like racking my brain, going through my TBR, looking through Kindle Unlimited. And then I re-looked at the paper today with fresh eyes, well, freshish eyes, and it's red on the cover, my friends. It's just red. I'm so silly. So I found 2 books that have reddish roses that I could read, but honestly, it's just red on the cover, so these definitely work. And then I've got way more options now. That just has to be red on the cover. I was making it so hard on myself. So 2 clean fiction books I found are The Riddle of Hearts by Rosie Grymm. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling that is in the multi-authored collection of not fairy tale retellings, but classics retold. And I love that idea, but as a non-classic reader, will I get to many of them? I don't know, but Alice in Wonderland has a really high possibility because I like the story of Alice in Wonderland typically, so I thought I could give that one a try. Or I also have, this is a complete random book I found. I actually don't think it's on Kindle Unlimited, so I would have to buy it or see if my library has it. But that is The Wrath and the Rose by C.J. Brightley. This cover. I know, we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but y'all, look at this cover. It satisfies every floral, loving, spring desiring bone in my body, which is basically every bone because I'm so ready for spring, it's not funny. If you saw me in real life and we talked, that will come up in the conversation within a minute that I am so ready for spring. I'm so ready for spring, it's not funny. But this cover, gorgeous. I don't really know much about it though. Here's the problem. It is one of those books where I look at it on Goodreads and I'm trying to read the description, the back cover blurb, but my eyes keep darting up and looking at the cover. It's a problem. I can't be the only one who has that problem because this is gorgeous. And I don't know, if you've read this book, let me know. I've only seen a couple Goodreads friends mark it as read on Goodreads and give a little bit of their thoughts. So please let me know if you've read this one. Have you read anything by this author? Do you know anything about this author? I believe it's clean fiction, but I don't really know anything else about it. And then this is actually just a red on the cover prop, so that opens the possibilities much more. I'm not sure what I'll end up doing for that, but there's options. There's more options. The next prompt is Fairy Godmother, and that's a gender-flipped retelling. So that's like, oh, let's see, Robin Hood is female then in this retelling. So like The Huntress of Thornbeck Forest by Melanie Dickerson would count. I don't know if I'll reread a Melanie Dickerson book. I could reread that one and then The Healer's Apprentice and knock off those first 2 prompts. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to do that, if I want to reread. I'm not sure, y'all. There's so much possibilities for this, and I love it, but at the same time, I'm just like, what do I feel like? And I'm such a mood reader. I don't know. So I really don't have one for this for me to read, except a reread of The Huntress of Thornbrook Forest. So if you have a recommendation for this one, please let me know. I would love to know. And then for Merriman, a male main character, and I feel like most books fit this, especially what I read is typically a dual point of view, but there's options for this one, and one that is a very high possibility would be A Lonely Dance by Selena R. Gonzalez. I'm going to buddy read this one with Sarah over from Sarah's Tangled Tales because she knows I'm very hesitant about reading this book because the main guy in it is a villain of his own right in the first book of the series, which was A Thieving Curse, which I've been talking about that one for my last couple of videos. Few videos, really. And I'm nervous reading this book, and she's like, well, do you want to buddy read it? So I was like, okay. Sure, we can do that because I'm a nervous wreck about reading this book because, like, I know we're going to have a redemption arc and that's great. I just have to get to that point of being willing to read about his redemption arc because I did not like him in the first book, but I'm ranting. So sorry. So I have that one as an option. Also, we have On the Edge of the Dark Sea of Darkness. This title, I can make so many comments on this title. I don't like this title. By Andrew Peterson. This is actually going to be our Christian Booktubers Book Club Book of the Month. I always try to join in on what's being read. I don't always succeed because sometimes the books just don't sound interesting to me. I'm so sorry. But this one, I'm very interested in it because I own books 3 and 4. I feel like I attempted to read this years ago and I never got into it or finished it because I was lost out of my mind because it's a kind of a fantasy book, but it's almost a middle grade young adult fantasy book. And I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to give it a try. I've heard so many people talk about this series. So I do know I'll read that one sometime in February. And it could fit for this prompt or even another prompt. Another option for the male main character. This was the easiest one because I could just say almost every single book I'm going to read in February will have a male main character point of view. But there's also Hey Jude Carpenter by Storm Stoltz that's coming out in February. And I am so excited about this one. This is a contemporary YA. I don't have to know anymore. I talked about it with my anticipated releases video. It just sounds cute. It sounds so cute. The main guy is Jude, and I don't know, it just... I'm always here for a good contemporary YA, and this is definitely on my docket for February, so it fits for this one, and potentially another one, so we'll get back to that. The next prompt is An Evil Stepmother, and that's a notorious villain, and I think A Lonely Dance by Selena R. Gonzalez could count because he was a villain in the first book. I think that counts. He's not going to be a villain in this second book because redemption arc, I've been told there is a redemption arc and I'm hanging on to that hope. I feel like that could count. Elsewise, I could totally do something else. I just don't know what. So, things to ponder. Pixie Dust, A Magical Creature. I feel like this is going to be one that as I read, I'm like, oh, this book has a magical creature. And that could be like a dragon, a unicorn, Pegasus. What's some other magical creatures? Oh, would a wyvern count? I had that book elsewhere. But that could actually probably count in that. I had Drake Hall by Christina Bear. That book has wyverns. Wyverns, I think that's how we say it. I've been told, and I think that's how you say it. It's really hard, y'all. Leave me the comments of like how to say something, which I so appreciate so much. And I understand it in my head, but it's getting my mouth to do it. It's a problem. So I appreciate y'all letting me know that. So hopefully I was closer this time. And then we have Midnight, which is the book, a hyped book. The book you were the last to read, which I thought that was a really cute prompt. So I have 3 options for that, and I'm scared to hold these up, to commit to any of these. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna hold them up. I'm scared. So we have Dust by Kara Swanson, which this could fit for other ones in this list of prompts. So I feel like this may be the month I finally read Dust. I've been asked about it. I have some friends that are like, you're gonna love it. I have other friends that are like, you're not gonna like it. And then I have some friends that are like, it's really dark. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to think about it. I'm a little concerned in that regard. I do like this author's writing style based on another book I've read by her, but maybe I will read Dust and Shadow in February. I feel like this has a really, really high possibility because this is kind of like a reimagining of Peter Pan. I feel like this has a really high possibility to be read. Another hyped book, a super hyped book, this book is heavy, this could knock someone out, is Resistance by J.L. Knight. I'm not committing to this one. I'm not committing to this one. This is a chunker of a book. February is a very short month. Well, I mean, we have an extra day because it's a leap year, but this is a really big book, and I actually would like to do a reading vlog just of this book, and I think I'll do a reading vlog for this entire readathon. So I probably won't read this one in February, but if I get in the mood for it, I'm gonna probably pick it up. I don't know. I've been in a big fantasy mood lately, but I don't like reading fantasy books back to back. So that's why I'm trying to add in other ones that are just not fairy tale fantasy. And then there's other ones. And I need to find a Regency book that fits for this. I feel like I have seen somewhere on Kindle Unlimited where there is a Fairytale Retellings of Regency time period-esque things, books. I totally messed up that sentence, but you know what I mean. Retellings of fairy tale books in a Regency time period. There's the coherent version. I feel like there is that series, and I have seen it, and I just have to refind it because my Kindle Unlimited list is long and things get... It's kind of like the black hole in your car, that in between the seat and the console. That is my Kindle Unlimited list. It's a little scary. So I have those two as an option. I also have Recorder by Kathy McCrum. The third book I think is releasing in May, March, one of the M months. And I own book 1 and 2. I'd like to read this series in its entirety once that third book comes out. So I don't know if I'll read it yet, but I know I have seen different BookTube friends hype that book up. So it has potential, but I think Dust has the highest potential of me reading it. The next prompt is Bluebeard, and that's a lesser known retelling. So I'm gonna make an argument on this one. I'm so sorry, my dear friends, especially those who came up with these questions. The Snow Queen. The Snow Queen to me is a not super common retelling for books. Now it's a well-known fairy tale retelling, I'll give you that in general because of Frozen. But how many people knew about the Snow Queen story before Frozen? And then Frozen completely, like, they changed it completely. So I'd like to see a raise of hands for those who didn't know about the Snow Queen before Frozen, because I didn't. Now, mind you, Frozen came out like 10 years ago, y'all. Not sure how, but I saw that post and I was like, wow, I'm old. That's great to know. So I feel like the Snow Queen could potentially count for this. Potentially. This is probably going to be more of like a random a random book I'll read to complete it. I feel like Snow Queen could work for this prompt though. So I have Frozen Hearts by Kara E. Rugg. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's name. This is a brother, sister, sibling story, and it has to do with the Snow Queen, and there's an allegory, so I'm really curious about this one. I'm very curious, and I just think I'll give this one a try for sure in February. It's got that cold cover. It looks icy. That's very February-esque in my opinion, so I think I'll read that one for this one, but if y'all argue with me enough in the comments, and it's not... The Snow Queen is not a retelling, lesser known retelling, which, okay, in general, no, it's not, but I don't feel like I see that much on all, like, the multi-authored collection series or just retellings in general. I don't feel like I see the Snow Queen that much. So I think it could count. I truly think that one could count. But another option would be Lady of Disguise by Melanie Dickerson, releases in February, and that is Jack and the Beanstalk. I don't think I've ever read a Jack and the Beanstalk retelling. Now, mind you, again, both of those, the Snow Queen, Jack and the Beanstalk, they are well-known retellings, yes. But in the book world for retellings, I don't feel like they're common, so I feel like it should count. If it doesn't count, it doesn't count, and I'll see about finding something else. But my problem is when I read a fairy tale retelling book, I typically gravitate towards ones I know I like Cinderella, Rapunzel, Sleeping Beauty, etc. I gravitate towards the ones I like, and the ones I don't know, there's got to be something else that attracts me to them. So I don't know about this one. If y'all have any lesser known retellings that are actually lesser known retellings, let me know. But I think I might finagle the rules on this one. Oops. The next prompt is wolf, and that is an animal that is integral to the plot. So there is a Fated Quest by Selena R. Gonzalez, and there is a talking fox in this book. This is actually, though, I'm supposed to read it after A Lonely Dance, and I don't know if I will read them both in the same month. I probably won't. So I could also read Drake Hall by Christina Bayer, and I mentioned for the other prompt as well, but you can double up, you can triple up, you can do the same book for multiple prompts, which I'm really grateful for. Even though I would love to reach that fairy godmother status of reading all 12, because I'm an overachiever and I would love to be a fairy godmother, I may end up just doing to get that princess status, because princess, why not? So anyway, I could read either of those two. A musical voice incorporates music and singing, and this is kind of a stretch, probably, again, sorry, but that would be Hey Jude Carpenter by Storm Stoltz. It says on the back cover that the main girl likes the Beatles. Maybe. I don't know if that will count, how much music it will be in it. That may be a book, like I'll read that one and then I'll be like, oh yeah, she likes the Beatles, but it's not a big deal. Or I have to find maybe a different music themed book. I think I can find that pretty easily, but feel free to leave your recommendations. The next book is Long Locks, A Girl with Long Hair. I actually own this book physically. So I was thinking of reading The Lost King's Daughter by A.D. German. The author sent me this book to review months ago, and I feel so bad that I haven't read it. It is a really thicker book though. It's like over 400 pages. Trying not to see spoilers. It's almost 500 pages. It's like 470. Okay, so that makes me a little nervous to read it because of that page length. But it sounds really interesting. It does also sound like there's kind of like an adventure quest, which is one of the next prompts. For the prompt Snow Queen, the characters are on a quest. So I feel like this could count. A Fated Quest by Selena R. Gonzalez could also count. And then On the Edge of the Sea of Darkness, that title, I just don't like it, by Andrew Peterson could also count. So I feel like we have options on that. They did say, different hosts of this did say that you could do like they're on a quest to find love or whatever. But I want to do an actual adventure quest. I think that would be fun. So that also may be a thing that as I read it, I find out like, oh, it's got this. Because you don't always know. Sometimes you do based on the back cover, but other times you don't. And I feel like this would be a very easy one to fulfill and work with, so potentials. And then Thumbelina, a short book, or the shortest book on your TBR, so like 250 pages or less. And I own that one, so let me grab it. I am thinking I will read this one, and that is Bailey McKenzie. Is this 250 pages? Oh, it's 264. I didn't count that. I just saw it was thin, so I was like, oh yeah, this will work. Okay, so Crisis. Oh no. Crisis, but this is Bailey McKenzie, Crime Scene Specialist by Tina R. Young. There is a Facebook group I'm a part of, and I will link it down below, that is for readers of Christian, young adult, and teen books. And that is a really fun group to be a part of. This will be the group's buddy read for November, not November. Where did November just come from? Oh my goodness, y'all. For February. Anyway, I think this is going to be the group's buddy read for February, I think. So I think I'm going to read this book then. I've had my eye on this book for a while, especially since it's young adult suspense. I have really high hopes for it. It is, though, more than 250 pages. I wonder if the Kindle edition is less pages, because sometimes that alters. I'll have to look at that. But elsewise, I think I could use like Drake Hall. I could use other books for that prompt very easily, but I want to make sure I read this one this year, so I don't know if I'll be able to count this year. This month, y'all, why are my words not coming out today? This is terrible. I want to read this book this month though, so I don't know if I'll be able to count it for the readathon or not, but it will be getting read this month, as I hope and plan. Okay, my friends, I feel like I just stumbled and stuttered all through that section of this video. I'm so sorry. Hopefully it was coherent enough for y'all. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. It's actually getting really dark outside. We're fixing to have a thunderstorm, so that's going to be fun. But that is the first section of this video, my TBR, if you will, for the Readathon. If you have any recommendations for any of those, please, please, please let me know in the comments below. I will also make a comment of ones that I think could fulfill, so if you'd like to join in and you need ideas, I will do that. I will also tag all the creators and hosts of this this challenge, no, this Readathon. Okay, I don't feel that tired, but my brain's apparently tired today, so that's fine. I'm going to, though, now do a book tag, because I think that'd be really fun. And this is a fairy tale retelling book tag. I saw this years ago, literal years ago. I think it was like 2017, which that's when I joined BookTube, so it's been a while since I saw it, and I saw it over on Kaylee's channel, the Lumerous Libros channel, and I've been wanting to do it. I've had it saved for that long, wanting to do it, and I've never done it, but this is the perfect time. Wouldn't you agree? So let's get started with these tag questions. So the first question is, what is your favorite fairy tale? And for me, Sleeping Beauty was my favorite growing up, but now I honestly would say I really like Rapunzel and Cinderella. Rapunzel, yes, because of Tangled, but there's also just been so many fun retellings I've read of Rapunzel, and then Cinderella is just that classic fairy tale magic wonder, and I just think that's lovely. Yes, there is flaws of, like, if her foot fit in the shoe perfectly, why did it fall off? And then how did the prince not recognize her? Total reasonable concerns. I'm aware. The logic isn't fully there. The math ain't mathin', as they say. So I understand the criticism, but at the same time, it's really just that fairy tale magic wonder, and I like the original Cinderella more than the 2015, I think, live action. Personally, that was pretty, don't get me wrong, but I like the original better just because that's what I grew up with. So yeah, I like those two. I also really like the 12 Dancing Princesses, which is purely because of the Barbie movie. The way I want to refine that movie and watch it during the month of February, I may see if I can do that. That's actually my mom's favorite Barbie movie, so we may see about doing that, but I've never read a retelling of the 12 Dancing Princesses yet. I have potentials for this TBR. Question 2 is, what is your favorite retelling of that story? Now, Cinderella, I have read Cinderella retellings. I know I have, but my favorite, I don't know if I've read a favorite one yet. So if you have a Cinderella retelling that you really like, please, please, please let me know about it. Please let me know about it, because I feel like there's got to be really good ones out there, and it's even better. You know what makes that story even better? I'm going to tell you what makes it even better, is when there is a masquerade ball. I love a good ball. I love a good masquerade ball, so there's my little, like, if y'all know of any fairy tale retellings that have a masquerade ball in them, please let me know. Even better if it's Cinderella. Give me all the recommendations, my friends. My TBR has room. It has room. It doesn't, but it does. It really does. So, yes, I've read The Captive Maiden by Melanie Dickerson. That was a long time ago, though, so I wouldn't really call that one a favorite. I'd have to reread it, and that's like book 4 in the series, so I don't know if I'll reread it. I don't know. We'll see. And then for Rapunzel, I have some options. I've already been discussing this book a lot, and that is The Lady of Lenaria by Michaela Bush. This was such a good Rapunzel retelling. It had the best parts of Tangled, but it also had a lot of unique elements. The main guy was a sweetheart, and there's faith content, and it was just really good. Really enjoyed this one. So I've been discussing this one. I feel like y'all probably already know about it, but just in case you need a Rapunzel recommendation, here you go. And then also for Rapunzel retellings, I refound this one on my bookshelf, and I say refound very loosely. This book with Blossom's Gold, my brain just lost its mind, by Hayden Wong. I talked about this one back at the beginning of my BookTube channel, I'm pretty sure. And I gave it 4.5 stars. I really liked it. I really liked it. I do not remember anything about it though. And all I remember is it's kind of that trope of, okay, the princess is in the castle or locked in the tower, but she doesn't want to be rescued. It's that kind of writing prompt. And I remember really, really enjoying that one. So in all honesty, I may see about rereading this one this month. It's short. and I don't remember much about it. So I just thought of a Cinderella retelling. Hang on, my dear friends. My Cinderella retelling. The Reluctant Godfather by Alison Tebow. Again, this is another one I've been talking about recently because I just reread it. This is a Cinderella retelling, reimagined from the fairy godfather's point of view. Very, very fun, very good. Gave it 4.5 stars. That would count for the Cinderella retelling. But I would still like to know if y'all know of any other Cinderella retellings that were really good. Back to Rapunzel, we've got those two, but then also Mechanical Heart by Sarah Pennington. This was a more recent read for me in 2023. And it's very loose, very, very loosely inspired by Rapunzel, but it's a steampunk one with no romance, so there's an idea for you. Oh, I just thought of another Cinderella one. I'm just winning. This is great. Let's see if I can find them all. This series by Amanda Tarot. Befriending the Beast is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, no romance. The Secret Slipper is book 2. This, I'm pretty positive, is Cinderella as well, no romance. And then Protecting the Poor is a Robin Hood retelling, no really any romance. I wasn't going to give recommendations in this video. I said I wasn't going to give recommendations, but these just jumped out because I did really enjoy these. I remember really enjoying them. Very sweet with no romances, which is always nice to see. Like, I like a good romance, but it's also really fun to have something that's not a romance, you know, once in a while. Some of y'all may disagree with that, and that's okay. Question number 3 is, what is your favorite retelling of a different fairy tale? Okay, I just found another Cinderella retelling. Sorry, gonna go back. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I wasn't a big fan of the whole series. This was definitely my favorite of the series, and things don't end, so you kind of have to continue with the rest of the series. But the rest of the series was unnecessarily long, in my opinion. So there's that, but I did enjoy this one quite a bit, and I'll talk about that more in a second. But for other retellings that I enjoyed, I recently read The Unlucky Prince by Deborah Grace White, and that is a retelling of The Frog Prince, and that was fun. I really liked both main characters in that, how it all worked out in the end. It was fun. I don't really have too much to say about it. I'll talk about it in an upcoming recent reads, but it was just fun. I enjoyed it. Not too much to say about it, really. And then another one that I read recently, that is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, A Thieving Curse by Selena R. Gonzalez. Look, y'all, it came. I fussed about it not coming in last week's video, and it finally came. Isn't it pretty? It is really pretty, and look at that. That's so cool. It's so cool. It's so pretty. It's got the little goat. It's so cute. Very pretty, very lovely. And this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling that made me lose my mind. So, there you go. Question number 4, what kind of style of a retelling do you prefer? Dystopian, steampunk, futuristic, Regency, all the different ones. And I'll just say yes. Yes. I will always take a dystopian retelling. I will take a dystopian anything. In all reality, I love a good dystopian book. And we know this. This is not new information for us, but when it's a fairy tale dystopian book, that's really fun. So like Cinder is that, and I think that's really fun, and I really liked that idea. But that's really the only dystopian retelling of any fairy tale I've seen is the Lunar Chronicles, and like I said, the rest of the books weren't really my thing. This first book, I did enjoy it though. So let me know if you have any fairy tale dystopian retelling recommendations, even if it's light, I don't care. If it is a dystopian retelling or reimagining of a fairy tale, please let me know. I would be very curious. Elsewise, I'm really okay with anything. Anything. Regency, steampunk. I'm not picky. I'll take it all. Question number 5 is, what's 2 fairy tales you would combine for an awesome retelling? They had cussing. I'm replacing that word. It's awesome. An awesome retelling. I thought way too hard on this, and I still don't know. My dear friends, I thought so hard on this one. I don't have an answer though. I think I honestly would be fine with anything, really. It's hard for me to combine 2 fairy tales. Like, I could do a fairy tale with a trope, or a fairy tale in a setting, but 2 fairy tales, it's like, what 2 would go well together? I don't know. And this is why I'm not an author right here. It's like, I don't know. I don't know, I'll read it, but I can't come up with one. So I don't have an answer for this question. Question number 6, what is a retelling on your TBR that you would like to read soon? Well, basically all the ones I just talked about in that first part of this video with the TBR for the Readathon. I'll read any of those. That would be great. I would like to read, what was the title of it? A Lonely Dance. That's the word I'm looking for. A Lonely Dance is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling. So I definitely want to get to that one soon. And I think I will with my buddy read with Sarah. So I think that one, but honestly any of them. Any of the ones I've mentioned. I also though have been reading a few books here and there of the Once Upon a Prince series, which is a multi-authored collection series on Kindle Unlimited, and I think they're available in paperback form as well, and they're by different authors, and I've read a couple so far. I really liked one, which was The Unlucky Prince that I just talked about. I liked that one quite a bit. And then I also read The Golden Prince, and let's discuss that with the next question. What was the last fairy tale retelling you finished? So that was The Golden Prince by Alice Envia. I'm not sure how to pronounce the author's last name. It was a Rapunzel retelling, and I really, really liked the Crown Prince. I thought he was just so funny. I really liked him. The main girl, though, who is the Rapunzel character, she was a compulsive liar, and I really didn't care for her, so that brought down my enjoyment quite a bit, which was unfortunate. And like, I liked parts of it, but not all of it, which was unfortunate. So I do want to read more in that series, though. They're by different authors. They follow different fairy tales, so I foresee me reading at least a few more of those come February, but yeah, I'm intrigued. Question number 8, what is a fairy tale you have not read a retelling of but would like to? That would be a 12 Dancing Princesses. I have a couple on my radar, but A Lonely Dance is also that, so I'm definitely going to be getting to that one soon. And then also Thumbelina. I'd like to see a retelling of Thumbelina for some reason. I don't feel like I've read one of those. Let me know if you have recommendations for those. Elsewise, I feel like I've read most of the ones I'd be interested in. So maybe those two. Question number 9 is, what is one retelling you are currently anticipating coming out? So I don't really have an answer for this. Melanie Dickerson's new one, Lady of Disguise, which I've already discussed a little bit, is releasing later this month, and that's a Jack and the Beanstalk retelling. But I can't say I'm really excited for it because it's kind of been a hit or a miss with this recent series of hers for me. So I'm gonna read it, but I can't say I'm really anticipating it. And then all of the multi-authored collection series I've been seeing on Kindle Unlimited, I feel like there's none currently coming out. I feel like they've all finished releasing, so I don't think there's any that I'm really looking forward to. And then question number 10 is just to tag some friends. So I thought hard about this, and I'm gonna tag 3 people. 3 people. And that's going to be Celestria, Sarah over at Sarah's Tangled Tales, and then Tay over at Tales and Treats with Tay. I'm going to tag you 3, and then y'all can tag 3 or more, and it will just be a really fun tag maybe to do for this readathon. And yeah, I don't know, I thought this was perfect timing. I rediscovered this. I was like, oh wow, yes, I want to do this tag. And then the readathon was announced, and it's just working out perfectly. This video's kind of been all over the place, so I apologize for that. But I hope you enjoyed it. I will post my recommendations for the readathon in the comments. If you have any recommendations for me or for others, I'd love to hear those as well. It can be Christian fiction or clean fiction. Let's just keep it clean, y'all. And I think I don't have to worry about that with those who watch my channel, but just to put out that little disclaimer. And then I will see y'all next time. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of all over the place. My brain just is misfiring today. I don't know why. But I need to go have a cup of tea or something. So I'm going to go do that, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching. I think I'm going to try to do a reading vlog just for these specific Once Upon a Faebruary readathon. I think I'll do a readathon just for a reading vlog just for those books, but I make no promises. But I'm gonna attempt, I think. I'll see how I do, but if you want real-time live-ish updates, you can check out my Goodreads. Please friend or follow me on there. And then I will see y'all next week with another video. Thank you so much for watching. I am Lindsey from the blog booksforchristiangirls.blogspot.com, where there's a new review every Monday and Friday. I try to post a new video on this channel every Friday, and I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, and I just love to give y'all book recommendations here, there, and everywhere. So I will see y'all next time. Have an absolutely lovely rest of your day. Bye!